Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is Tuesday, August 9th, 2016. Our sun sign is in Leo and our moon sign is in Scorpio. So Leo, represented in the tarot by strength, meaning that we have this creative energy that resides within us. We need to tame this energy so that it can be usable. We tame it with our imagination, and that way the creativity becomes something more useful. Otherwise, this energy just charges out there and it doesn't necessarily have any cohesiveness to it. The moon sign is Scorpio, water sign, dealing with our emotions, death. So the feeling comes within the emotional realm where we feel like something has died because our emotions are going through a change from something to something else. And so in that process, things can feel very heavy. We don't often do well with transition down here because we don't understand the process so well, but it happens all the time. Life and death are intertwined. And so we go through this phase. So we have this underlying energy that is experiencing a transition, an emotional transition, and we have the exterior conscious mind, which is feeling this need to want to express itself and roar like the lion, but needs to temper that roaring with the imagination. So it's not just a wild roar that doesn't do anything, but something that is more focused. Okay, so that's the whole point of it. We're learning to focus our energy so we can make it more useful. Focus our energy to make it more useful. Now we see two aspects we're looking at. The first one involves Venus, and that is at 9:43 a.m. This is Pacific Standard Time. So Venus again brings that imagination and creativity and is bringing it to the process of death, the way that we're looking at things, saying use our imagination in the way that these emotions are being expressed. Use this imagination as there's a transition taking place. And then tonight, we have Neptune. It's telling us we need to take a new perspective of things at the end of this day. So as we come to the end of this day, we need to look at things now from a new perspective. And it's all very positive because something positive have shifted, a new way to do things, a new way to see things. It could be a big shifting of things taking place between the transitioning of things and the new perspectives we need to take. It could be a quite interesting day in that regard. Looking up at the moon phase, we have a waxing moon. We are 39.4% of the way up to the full moon, which will be at the 18th. The Jewish calendar, we're in the month of Av. We're on the 5th of Av, 5 Av, year 5775. And the daily thought for today is two minds. The mind of a woman and the mind of a man are two distinct minds at their very core. And only with both can there be a world. It began when God decided to create the world, and in doing so, he took two perspectives. He saw the world from beyond as its creator, and he saw the world from within as the energy of life. From the first perspective, as the creator, originates the mind of man. From the second, the mind of woman. That is why the man has the power to conquer and subdue, but he does not have the woman's sense of the other. That is why the woman feels the other, but she does not conquer. She nurtures. And her light is tightly constrained. And as they bond together, the man unleashes the woman's light, and the woman teaches the man to feel the other. And that union shines the very essence of all that is holy and divine. Now, if we look at these two as the example of that, okay, we have the The man has the power to conquer. Look at this here. The man has the power to conquer and subdue, but the woman, she has the power to nurture. And so the two are working together in that regard. So there is some synchronicity in that right there. And then we're going to go look at space weather. Solar wind at the moment is 593.0 kilometers per second. At the moment is currently quiet at a 3, but we're moving into the unsettled realm of the 4s. Coronal hole opened up in the top of the sun. Look at that one. Nice good sized coronal hole. We'll be feeling the effects of that today. M-class flare possibility is up now to 15%. X-class is only at 1%. Mid-latitudes, our geomagnetic storm activity is sitting at about 30%, and in the high latitudes, it is also stable, 25, 35, 30%, depending upon their severity. So this is what's going on. That is the summary of our cosmic weather for today. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Derek, thank you very much. Today, I have 4 stories for you. The first story comes to us from Brownsville, Texas. Brownsville, Texas. Remember years ago the UFO sighting that took place in Brownsville? Well, here we have another one here. The cylindrical UFO was seen and recorded hovering in the sky above Brownsville in Texas, August 2nd, just a few short days ago. The witness report says my brother was driving back home after a fishing trip on Highway 48 when he noticed a bright oval shape moving from left to right, then stopping, hovering. The sky was cloudless at the time of the day, and you can see the sunset in the background of the video that he recorded. The object had a small object, but was trailing the big oval object and was absorbed, but was not captured on the video. As with most videos, there is a possibility that the object may be of terrestrial origin. All right. Interesting. We're going to go from there to Abilene, Kansas. Abilene, Kansas for our next sighting. This one took place on the 4th. Now what we have here, as we could see, it says the UFO was filmed in Abilene, Kansas. 8/4/16. I saw a total of 3, but was only able to film 1. The others were too high up for my phone to see, and apparently we are having some challenges here that we might not be able to see this. The link's going to be available. We'll give it a few moments to see. No, this blinking thing is not the UFO. It's the video itself. There we go. All right. What we have here is a 51-second video. That is just still doing the same thing. That's not the UFO. All right, there we go. Object in question. We've seen this type before, kind of a cylindrical one like the previous one in Abilene. Maybe it's the same one, though I don't think it took 2 days to go from Brownsville to Kansas. Maybe it's just out sightseeing on another day. All right, moving on to our next sighting here. This is a story that goes back to the days of Germany and the old Red Baron. Remember the Red Baron, the stories of the Red Baron? I believe there was even a Christmas album at one time, the Snoopy Christmas album, which had this song to Red Baron. Germany reports that Red Baron shot down the UFO in the 81st mission. 1917-1918, French battle lines. It's possible that the Red Baron 2 front machine guns could have damaged not the UFO, but the area antenna in the top center of the craft. Not all craft have this antenna, but Area 51 UFO nuclear engineer Bob Lazar said it controls steering of the craft. If this antenna was hit by the Baron, then yes, a UFO would lose control and be forced to land and make repairs. Okay, so that's that little thing right top there is what they're saying was shot. Says he was already a living legend, as Baron Manfred von Richthofen, also known as the Red Baron because of its bright red painted aircraft. He has 80 victories as the best fighter of the First World War. Was UFO his 81st launch? But perhaps it was even 81 kills. Now, as the Bild newspaper speculates, citing statements from a fellow aviator, Richthofen, this would be the Red Baron, the world's first aviators ever. The something is ever succeeded. The assertion is Nigel Watson in his book UFOs in the First World War. Germany, UFOs in World War I on. Richthofen's mate Peter Weitz Rick makes such statements. He claims to have accompanied Richthofen on this patrol. As the morning broke to 2 in the morning, when the weather from the airfield on a reconnaissance flight said to have discovered von Richthofen on a large silver-shaped object that was also lit orange. Without long to be torches, took Richthofen's chase, shot the UFO down from heaven. 2 aliens should be then fled to the forest. Writes the Bild newspaper, with the history of Conrad von Richthofen's probably gone so late to the public because he did not know it could have been an alien craft. Okay. And finally, one more piece. This doesn't involve an actual flying saucer, but it does involve space, where the saucers are supposed to be flying around. It says, what if black holes were completely different than we thought? What if I told you that black holes weren't as bad as you thought they were? That they weren't crushed life or anything for that matter when you came in contact with a black hole. With recent movies like Interstellar, scientists have been toggling the idea that it might be possible to go into another galaxy versus black holes instead of being death objects in the universe. What we did was to reconsider a fundamental question on the relation between the gravity and the underlying structure of space-time from Diego Ribeiro Garcia, team at the University of Lisbon in Portugal. If you realize that makes black holes so deadly, your world, you would suddenly realize that it's all caused by the singularity in Einstein's theory of relativity. He explains that in the center of a black hole is where gravity is at its most intense, which is what we call the singularity. This is also where time seems to end as well as space. But if singularity were not to exist, and we were to put a wormhole there instead, could it be a viable answer to what a black hole actually is? Since singularity is yet to be actually proven due to the fact that we have not found a way to show that it exists, we're able to play around with theories like this. According to Science Alert, in order for something like this to work out, or for anything of our basic understanding of the universe to stay intact, we would definitely need Einstein's theory of relativity to be wrong, which would basically change everything. So the big question is if the possibility of a finite-sized wormhole being at the center of a black hole is possible. Could we really send objects throughout, maybe even humans? Ribeiro Garcia's team took 3 objects, a scientist, a chair, a spacecraft they called the observers, and tested out their theory. Each particle of the observer follows a geodesic line determined by the gravitational field. Each geodesic feels like a slightly different gravitational force, but the interaction among the constituents of the body could nonetheless sustain the body, says Ribeiro Garcia team. Perhaps if this liable theory, that means instead of being crushed while coming into contact with a black hole, we can only be crushed per size of the wormhole. Although this is to remain a theory until hopefully sometime in the future we can test this out. It changes the entire thought process regarding what a black hole actually is. Luckily, it opens so many more doors and possibilities for the future of the universe. Black holes opening doors, no pun intended. Look, it's not the first time that this theory has come up. It's nice to see that science is catching up with what ufologists have been saying for a long time. You know, with all of these stories that come across, basically what it does is one thing. it confirms that science doesn't have all the answers. That science has been telling you stuff that they have believed to be true, that they've gone with that story only to determine later on that it really wasn't. They didn't know what they were talking about. And here's yet another case. So, one for the ufologists and the people who were following their intuition, 0 for the scientists who didn't believe but are now getting some sort of validation from other forms. If only they would listen. Just think how quickly they might have really learned something. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do, huh? That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back. I've got a bunch of really good stories for you today. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brothers watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I and the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
So today is an election day for the primaries in Wisconsin. They are doing their voting. We've got Ryan, and then we've got Nellen. Ryan, who didn't want to endorse Trump, and then Trump went ahead and he endorsed Ryan. Now, a lot of people didn't understand that. Why would Trump endorse Ryan? It's because Trump is wanting to be the president. He's wanting to show that he can unite people together. That's the job of the president, to be the uniter. So he needed to do that. He needed to show that he could do that. And when he did, he got respect of other individuals within the party. Not everybody, but he got respect of some individuals that realize he's wanting to do the right thing to bring them together. Now, it appears that Ryan has had an opportunity to also be part of that as well. And apparently, in a couple days from now, he's going to be speaking at a rally that is a never Trump rally. So we could see that Lion Ryan is just a snake in the grass. It can't be trusted. However, today, maybe the good people of Wisconsin will put an end to that snake by voting him out and voting for Nellen. That would be really awesome if something could happen like that, because people like Ryan are just part of the problem. They're just part of the problem because they're, not for the people. They claim to be one thing, but then the way that they vote and their actions show them to be something else. So, we'll see what happens there. We'll keep an eye on Wisconsin, see how that unfolds today. Now let's turn our attention back to Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has been having lots of problems. We're going to look at some of the other problems she's been having. One of them lately has been crowds. She's not been able to get crowds. She's been pulling under 200 people at these crowds. Here's some pictures, 2 pictures of this exact same rally. Exact same rally. This is the crowd that somebody at that rally took a picture of. And this is the picture that was put out by the Clinton campaign, saying that this was what this event was, but you could see this is what the event was. If you look here, and if you've ever done any work with Photoshop, you could see that this is one of the worst Photoshop jobs ever. It looks like they just pasted these people in here. It looks like something you'd see on the cover of the Sgt. Pepper's album with all of the various different people in there, posed and what have you. The Hill newspaper is being accused of Hillary favoritism after it used a fake Photoshop crowd to promote a live video stream of Clinton's rally in St. Petersburg. Okay, so you can actually see yourself. There you go. I mean, look how fake that is. Look at this. I mean, right here, look at this. You even got this line right here where they didn't even do this right. Looks like they just cut out and threw this in here. You see all these people. They're just two-dimensional people. They're flat. I don't know if she's even real. She looks like she might not even be real in there. But this is what they send out. You know why? You know why they do this, folks? Because they think we are stupid. They think we don't notice this. You know what? In many ways, they're right. That's why they keep doing these things. Hillary stood up at a rally a couple weeks ago and said that she was going to raise taxes on the middle class, and everybody cheered. Why? Because they're not paying attention. I don't know what it is with the liberal mindset, but the more and more I see it, the more I realize that liberalism is a mental disease. It has to be, because the way that people think from a liberal mindset makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to show you a few more things along the way here, and you can decide for yourself if maybe there's any validity to what I'm saying, because the decisions that come from the liberal mind they're quite mind-boggling at times. Just anyone who might believe this. I mean, it's very easy in this day and age with the technology we have to be able to check this out. It goes on to say, a tweet entitled, "Watch Live, Clinton Holds Florida Rally After Major Trump Speech," was illustrated by a picture of Hillary giving a speech surrounded by a large crowd of people. However, the image is obviously a mock-up with groups of people layered into the shot. A real crowd at the event looks somewhat less sizable and a lot less enthusiastic. See, this is more like what's happening with the Hillary rallies. She's getting small crowds, but they're shooting in such a way to try to make it look like they're larger crowds. And apparently, it's getting so bad that they now have to Photoshop. So a couple hundred people showed up. Door count puts the number at about 171, with the St. Petersburg venue capable of holding in excess of 4,000 without seating. Points out the conservative treehouse. The media's apparent effort to artificially inflate the size of Hillary's crowd is noteworthy, given that Donald Trump has consistently accused the press of refusing to show huge crowds at his own rallies. So again, the media is showing themselves out to be the liars that they are. Again, I have to ask, do those who are lying at these various events think that they are immune from the problems that are facing the world? They seem to be, but they're not. They're just cowards. They're all cowards at all of these networks. that are choosing to go along with all of this nonsense. But their day will come because I believe karma is a real thing, and I believe it will come back around to them one way or another. Okay, we're going to turn our attention. Let's look at Hillary's health. I've shown you some pictures the other day. She couldn't make it up the stairs. She's been having various mental glitches. Short circuit is the word that she used. Here's an article that's asking the question about her medical handler. Since October 2012, we've noticed the reoccurring question of whether or not Secretary Hillary Clinton had a stroke. You might remember that evolving media reports at the end of October, beginning November 2012. First, Secretary Clinton had a cold that later became the flu. That version later became a slip and a fall. That version became a concussion. And finally, the version evolved into blood clots, etc. The series of medical conditions was followed by numerous reports a year later. During a book tour, the people were noting her difficulty with her eyesight, using her right arm, and seeming to tremble or to be unstable when standing. Many people wondered if the 2012 medical incident was actually a stroke. The topic appeared and disappeared several times as specific incidents surfaced that seemed to indicate Hillary Clinton was struggling with some mental issues, some health issues. The curiosity was fueled in 2012 by the Clinton campaign announcing that they would not release Clinton's medical records. Then there is the mysterious growth discussed as several people noted on her tongue, the coughing, the speech pattern, etc. Here we have her tongue. This is at one point. We could see it looks normal, and here we have a hole in the tongue. But here, this hole happens to be right where there looks like there's some sort of red lump thing there. Something was removed from this area right there. Okay, and if you go and you do a search, type into Google what type of procedure, medical procedure, would cause a hole in the tongue to be required, and it would come up with some sort of cancer, throat-related illness. However, more recent independent journalist, researcher Mike Cernovich has begun looking into Hillary Clinton's worsening physical abilities. You can click there, it'll take you to some of the stuff we looked at yesterday. And he asked the question, who's the medical handler that seems to be consistently at Hillary's side? Secretary Clinton to have suffered an episode during a speech where she froze on camera. This freezing seems obvious. Confusion has been noticed before. Okay, this is the image. You've seen this over and over. Look at her. The look of concern. She almost is lost and confused as we watch this. But here's the gentleman in question. He keeps showing up. People want to say this is a Secret Service agent, but it's not a Secret Service agent because he's not doing what a Secret Service agent would do. And you could see him many different places where he's not behaving like a Secret Service agent. He's watching her rather than watching the crowd. You can tell the difference. The Secret Service agents are scouring the crowd to make sure things are safe there. They don't take their eyes off of what's going on. Watch them at the rallies, and you'll see that this guy is not behaving that way. So the question was and is raised about a possible physician who may be part of Hillary Clinton's entourage, keeping her health in check. Several people began looking into this rather large black male figure. Might possibly be, how does he fit into the customary physical profile, attributes required for an ordinary Secret Service agent. However, it is possible that he could be personal security or individually specialized and medically trained to work with the security agency. One person via Twitter, following the possible doctor angle, has discovered a medical doctor who does seem to fit this description. And while somewhat younger and thinner on the profile picture, he does match the physical appearance of him. So we have this man right there. Can't really get these in the same screen. And then him. If this is him, his name would be Dr. Akunola, MD, prestigious neurology group, Neuroscience Center of Northern New Jersey, to provide a variety of specialized care. Specializes in epilepsy, clinical neuropsychology, and sleep medicine. Okay, a little bit of his background here, but very important. Epilepsy and clinical neuropsychology. So we know that Hillary has problems with those areas, as it appears to be, and that's what it seems. Now, however, I would caution you not to mix up two very different people within the Clinton team who hold strong physical resemblance. There is at least a large black male customary Secret Service agent in addition to the possible medical assistant or medically trained agent, and at least from behind they can be confused. Okay, here's the two differences. Notice how he's standing. Where is he looking? He's looking out at the crowd. Okay? Secret Service agent looks at the crowd, makes sure nobody is trying to do anything that might harm the person he is guiding, watching. However, you have this man here, he's watching her to make sure what goes on with her. He's not watching the crowd. He's not paying attention to anything. So this man isn't a Secret Service agent because he's not behaving in the way he would. And as you watch him and he follows her, here again is the clip. You could see how he runs right up once this incident occurs. This is the one where she starts to talk. Someone from apparently an animal cruelty group was holding up a sign. We could see there she is, the look, the concern. He rushes on in. Look how vulnerable she looks right there. Okay, and then they tried to play it off, but he had to tell her to talk, keep talking, and she said, okay, we're going to keep talking, and there you go. And then she jumps right back into it. So what's going on there? I don't know. Should be noted that it's not unique for a specialized medically trained Secret Service agent to be assigned to details with people who might need medical attention. There have been multiple instances where high-profile figures have also had medical issues. Bill Clinton had heart bypass surgery as one recent example. Just because a uniquely medically trained person is assigned to Hillary Clinton doesn't mean much more than her unique health condition is simple, an additional factor to be considered along with a host of other factors. Okay, and here we have a picture. I mean, look at her right here. She looks like she's on death's door. You know, if you have ever had anybody in your family that has been sick or has had some medical condition, you've recognized this look right there. This is not the look of a well woman. And you could see these two gentlemen on either side of her appeared to be concerned. This is the same gentleman, the doctor in question, medical assistant in question, and here would be Como. Okay, they're at the Gay Pride Parade because Hillary wants to see that, or think anyway, that she's for the gays. However, she really isn't. She really isn't. All right. So let's continue on. Let us continue on here. So that's what's going on there. So what's going on with Hillary's health? Well, the other day there was released some information from a doctor who is supposed to be her Dr. Lisa Barak, I believe her name is, MD, and she put out this paper. Basically said Hillary has a clean health and she's, healthy, ready to run for the office of the president. And this is what she said. However, some other documents have come forward, maybe true, maybe not, but they contradict what the doctor said, and they have the same doctor's name assigned to that medical page. So let me show you this right here. Hillary Clinton medical records leaked. Not good. Okay, here's the all right, let me just get over. Let me just get to the actual image here. Okay. Says, office visit. President complained, blacking out for short periods of time, uncontrollable twitching, memory loss, fatigue, interim medical history. Patient returns stating that she is still having complications following concussion in early December 2012. She states that the blacking out, the uncontrollable twitching, and the memory loss have become worse over the last few months. Patient has been diagnosed with having complex partial seizures. In early 2013, it was diagnosed with having early onset of subcortical vascular dementia. Medical examination. Patient shows signs of advancing subcortical vascular dementia after MMSE was performed. The patient scored significantly lower on today's tests than when tested in 2013. The patient is also showing signs of more frequent complex partial seizures. The diagnosis, complex partial seizures, and subcortical vascular dementia. Impression or plan. I discussed with the patient at length about the alternatives, and we elected to maintain her on the present medicine with only increasing her medication for the seizures. I've ordered another MRI to be performed and will schedule another office after the test is performed. Lisa R. Bardock, MD. Is this real? Well, there's two of these documents out now by Lisa Bardock. There's this one I just showed you here, and I didn't pull it up, but there's another one that is stating that Hillary has had some issues in the past. She has a clean bill of health and is good to go. But we know that's not true because we're seeing Hillary with the head bobs. We're seeing Hillary with the coughing. We're seeing her with the hole in the tongue. We know that something is wrong and she is not good to go. Okay, so there's a problem. One of these documents is not being honest. So let me ask the question, has our government, has the administration, the Democratic side ever put forth a fraudulent document? Well, yes, they have. You put forth Barack Obama's birth certificate, which the liberals still believe is real. Again, the liberals are mental diseased individuals. Liberalism is a mental disease, and people still believe it despite the fact that there has been extensive forensic investigation that has shown that document to be a forged document that should put the forger in jail. It is being passed off as being real by the media. The media, who's lying to you, who thinks that they're immune from the problems in the world. So, a moment ago I showed you Hillary looking like the Walking Dead over at the Pride rally. Well, Hillary puts out this message like she's for the homosexual, the gay community. She really isn't. She really, really isn't. Hillary takes money from countries that throw homosexuals off roofs and believe that they should be killed because they go against the will of Allah. The same country she takes money from oppress women's rights, yet Hillary also claims to be for women's rights. Hillary's not for you. If you are believing that she is, you're being fooled. If you're a member of the LGBTQ community and you think she's for you, then you've been fooled. Here we have an event right here. Orlando shooter's father, the one who went in to kill the gay people in the club, he's over at Hillary's rally, sitting right behind her. There he is, right there. There's the father of the shooter sitting at that rally. Hillary Clinton spoke to a crowd in Kissimmee just south of Orlando. She was supposed to be taking jobs, but started the speech off paying tribute to those affected by the Pulse nightclub shooting. And then everything went blank. Let's see if we can get that back here. See, didn't want us to see it. Anyway, I'm going to just skip over to this end here. The father here is document ties him to radical Islamic groups. Okay, that's the same father, the same man who's seated back over here. I can get this to work properly. I don't know if it's... There we go. There's the father, the same man right there. Okay, we're just going to skip that one. The article link will be available. But said the father of Orlando mass shooter Omar Mateen has long-standing connections to prominent Islamic groups in the USA. A document discovered by the Investigative Project on Terrorism shows Sadiq Mateen is listed as the president of the then American Muslim Alliance AMA chapter. In Fort Pierce, July 1997 announcement archived by the IPT. The AMA sponsored several radical conferences in the U.S., and its leader, Agad Saeed, has spoken in defense of convicted terrorists, included Afa Sadiqi, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad board member Saeed Al-Aran, and Pakistan intelligence lobbyist Ghulam Nabi Fai. The Fort Pierce chapter is among 10 new AMA chapters open, the announcement for an AMA bulletin says. AMA was incorporated as the nonprofit organization in California in 1994 to educate the Muslim community and others on the history of the laws of the United States and on affirmative participation in civic activities on a nonpartisan basis. AMA's political activist wing, the American Muslim Political Coordinating Council, includes leading Islamic organizations in the United States, including the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE, the Muslim Public Affairs Council, MPAC, and the American Muslim Council, AMC. AMA no longer exists as a registered nonprofit, and it last filed tax returns in 2010, but the organization continues to maintain an active Facebook account. In the post, the AMA refuses to consider any Islamic motivations for the attack and lays the blame for Omar's Mateen's massacre, which killed 49 people, on the country's lax gun laws. The organization has a history of working, so they're saying that he killed because the gun laws were bad. The organization has a history of working with radical Islamic group and issued statements of support of the several terrorists later in the U.S. All right, so there's more to the article. So bottom line, what we have here, we have a woman saying one thing. She supports the LGBTQ community, while at the same time she supports the terrorists in the countries who want to come over and kill the members of the LGBT community. And as a matter of fact, one of the people that she has at her rally, who is connected directly to the Islamic groups that want to kill, is the father of the shooter who actually did go and kill members of the LGBT community. And yet members of the LGBT community want to run out and vote for Hillary. That's called a death wish. Okay, that's called a death wish. Remember a moment ago, a little while ago, I said liberalism is a mental disease? See what I'm talking about there? Why in your right mind would you want to vote for somebody that wants to bring people in the country that want to kill you? That makes no sense at all, and yet this is what's going on within the Democratic Party. Voting for people to come into the country to kill you. Stupid is as stupid does, or, you can't fix stupid. That's all I could say. You can't fix stupid, and it's really sad that people are buying into that. But I guess that's how it's going to be, and I guess we're just going to have to sit back and wonder what's going on with that crowd of people. So if you're straight out there, us straight folks will have to look at this and say we don't understand. Don't understand what the mindset is of those individuals, of that group, why they would possibly want to vote for that. Can't even fathom why. Couldn't even fathom why. Makes no sense to me. But if somebody can explain it to me, that would be awesome. Please try to explain it to me, because I don't know why somebody would vote for the person who wants to bring somebody into the country that wants to kill you. No sense. Makes no sense. Okay, we haven't heard from Brother Nathan, so I thought today would be a good day to remedy that situation. Here we go.
You can't make this stuff up. Suddenly, the Democratic Convention turned into a war rally that would have made Hitler wince. Not with envy, but with scorn and even mockery. It began with the drums, as civilians and retired military brass pushing partisan politics straight on stage, like something out of a B-movie. Take your seats, football fans. You got the script. And cheer on a derelict drill sergeant whose bark unmasked a man who lost his brains.
My fellow Americans, I stand with you tonight, a retired four-star general of the United States Marine Corps. And I am joined by my fellow generals and admirals, and with these magnificent young veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. They went there and they risked their lives because they love this country.
Nasty love. To make children orphans, to make wives widows, to create suffering and misery thousands of miles from home isn't love for America, just the opposite. It brings blowback and retribution on America's head. But the drill sergeant, drunk with the sound of his own voice, wants to bring the Clintons back to keep the military-industrial complex alive and thriving.
The stakes are enormous. We must not, and we could not, stand on the sidelines every American in uniform, in the White House or at home. USA! USA! USA!
The lunatics got the president in uniform and soldiers showcasing military idolatry. And all the people shout, USA! It gets worse.
We must be a force for unity in America, for a vision that includes all of us, every man and woman, every race, every ethnicity, every faith and creed, including the Americans who are our precious Muslims, and every gender orientation.
Sure, send the LGBTs off to needless wars. Why not? Both are immoral. And those precious Muslims, just send them to kill other Muslims in Iraq. Is this why Khan's wife had nothing to say? And Khan was off base attacking Trump, who had nothing to do with sending Khan's son to Iraq to die. Yet Senator Hillary certainly did. For who will keep the drum rolls beating and the bloodshed streaming? Hillary, Alan's choice for Commander-in-Chief.
My fellow Americans, I tell you, without hesitation or reservation, that Hillary Clinton will be exactly the kind of Commander-in-Chief America needs. With her as our Commander-in-Chief, America will continue to lead this volatile world.
He means the Queen of Chaos will guarantee America keeps on igniting a volatile world. And any country that Hillary decides to make safe for democracy will end up unsafe for its hapless people. She did it in Libya. She's demanding it in Syria to keep Israel safe. It's not only her. Warmongering Jews like Robert Kagan, who jumped the GOP ship, Shapiro, Bash, and Steinberg are advising Mrs. Clinton. Stop the shouting. The words of a wise man are heard in quiet, more than the shouts of a ruler among fools.
Я бы хотел все-таки спросить у уважаемого господина посла, как он оценивает односторонний выход США из договора по противоракетной обороне.
I was personally opposed to that withdrawal, and I take your point. I would say that I don't think that any subsequent plans for the sort of deployments were or could be a threat to Russian systems. But in general, I am not a supporter of ABM systems. I would point out that I think the main source of that is not to threaten Russia, but to secure employment in the United States. A lot comes from the military-industrial complex and the number of people it employs.
Господин посол, я считаю ваши аргументы неубедительными, отношусь с огромным уважением к вашему опыту и к искусству, которым вы пользуетесь, дипломатическому искусству, которым вы пользуетесь безупречно, уклоняясь от прямого ответа. Вы все-таки на него дали прямой ответ, но элементы украшательства в вашем ответе были. Не нужно создавать рабочие места, которые результатом своей деятельности имеют угрозу для всего человечества.
Nailed it. And only the goys die young. The military-industrial complex, funded by the Jewish-owned Fed, will create jobs, yet loss of misery abroad, and up the suicides of young Gentile boys burned out by immoral wars fought for Israel across the globe. But it's USA, USA. The recruiting stations are open for business. It's a career to kill for. But with Hillary as Commander-in-Chief, it will be body bag sent back home.
All right, there you go. Brother Nathaniel, good message. Again, liberalism is a mental disease, okay? If you don't like me saying this, too bad, too bad. The only reason you wouldn't is if you're a liberal, is if your mind is stuck in that place. Because we have the Democratic liberal side. Who do they want to bring in? Islam. They're supporting the radicals. They're supporting the extremists. What did we talk about in the show yesterday? Islam is the satanic religion. So if we have a satanic religion that the Democrat Party is bringing in, now we have these various members of the GOP that want to go vote for Hillary. We're seeing all of these dark satanic beings all gathered together. I hope people are watching. I hope that people aren't dumb enough to fall for this. I hope that people realize that Hillary will say anything to get elected, but will not follow through on the things that she says because she doesn't want to follow through. She just simply wants to have the power. Please, people, wake up out there. I don't want to have to be watching dead bodies being loaded and buried into the ground because they believed in the lies this woman was going to tell. How many times have we seen this year after year from the different political parties? Republicans aren't any better. But right now, the ones who are in party, the ones who are seeming to be in control of so many things, from the media manipulation to the political manipulation to all the manipulation that's going on, it's all coming from the same side, the same energy. It's a dark force that is out there, and it is affecting and poisoning so many things. I really do hope Americans wake up. In my opinion, my friends, we've got 3 months left to save the republic. 3 months. Because if Hillary gets in office, she's going to continue on this track, and Islam is going to continue to pouring in. And as Islam continues to pour in, it's going to bring within it those members who are radicalized, that are going to want to kill Americans, that are going to want to kill homosexuals, that are going to want to oppress women, that want to impose Sharia law upon this country. That's what we have. We have 3 months, 3 months to save this republic. 3 months, otherwise the experiment of America is dead. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But it seems that we're in a dire situation, my friends, and I'm getting real tired of seeing people giving up at this point in time because they're buying into the lies of the BS artists on the mainstream media. They're all lying to you. It's too bad people believe the lies rather than the truths. All right, let me switch gears here. I want to introduce you to this page. This is from the Daily Crow about the Georgia Guidestones and a date coming up of August 14th, 2016. The Georgia Guidestones can be best described as the 10 Commandments of the New World Order. The monument, constructed March 22nd, 1980, after a granite company was hired by an individual who went by the pseudonym of R.C. Christian. These objects have long been the subject of conspiracy theorists, and rightly so. When we deal with specific dates, it is important to note that this does not mean a particular event must take place on that day. The convergences speak for themselves, but we cannot conclude any event will take place simply because a date has an unmistakable symmetry with other days or events. Does not mean something will necessarily manifest on the date in question. Okay, what we're questioning here is because there is a cube with the dates and the numbers 8, 14, 16 on it, which also happens to be the same day as 9 Av, and 9 Av happens to be a significant day on the Jewish calendar right here. For the last few years, I've been studying the patterns of Jewish history based on Hebrew calendar. Certain days have a great significance to the Jewish people, but none is more ominous than the 9th of Av, or Tisha B'Av. On this day, both Jewish temples were destroyed, the first in 423 BC, the second in 70 AD. On the 9th of Av, 135 AD, 500,000 Jewish people were slaughtered by Roman soldiers in the city of Pthar. Okay, a list of other things that happened on that date. And this is the cube that came up, what was there. Got the letters JAM, speculation. This is Judgment of Mankind on 8 14/20 2016. What I want you to see here is this video. This is a 44-minute video. This is all I'm going to talk about with the Georgia Guidestones today. I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow in depth. I wanted to introduce this to you because this video is a very interesting video. Numbers are amazing things. Numbers will guide us from one thing to the next. If we look at the numbers in our lives and see how numbers play themselves out, not only on a daily basis, but on a weekly, monthly, and a yearly basis throughout our lives, we start to see patterns unfolding. The gentleman who made this video did an amazing job of showing a many patterns that keep unfolding and showing up over and over and over again. At a certain point in time, when you start seeing the same patterns over and over, you have to realize that it's not just a coincidence, but there's something significant about this. There's so much information in this video that I would like you to actually watch this video first, so that tomorrow when I discuss a bit more of what's going on with this, you understand where we're at, so there's a little bit more of an understanding. So check out this video. You may not fully understand all the numeric things, but just follow along as best as you can and just get the sense that there's a pattern. That's the most important thing you'll see here. What you're being shown by this gentleman is a pattern that keeps reoccurring over and over and over. Not only the numbers in his life as he is researching this, but in the numbers of the things he is researching. And there's a lot of numbers that point over and over and over to these dates of 8/14/2016. What's going to happen then? I don't know. The gentleman who made the video doesn't know. The numbers just keep coming over and over and over, landing on that particular date. That is this coming Sunday. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Watch the video. It's 45 minutes. And then we can talk a little bit more about it tomorrow on the show. All right. That brings us finally to this article here, the Mandela effect. Now, we did a show on the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect basically is basically looking at at the timelines that we're on and seeing that we are experiencing something in our timeline that doesn't seem to match up with our historical record. And because the timeline is not matching up with the historical record, it leads some who are researching this to believe that we have jumped timelines. Considering that CERN is doing these time experiments dealing with time, there might be something of significance to this. So this article is called Mandela Effect, the proof that negative timelines are collapsing. Greg Prescott said, but now we've all heard of the Mandela Effect. For those who don't know, I'll catch you up to date. The Mandela Effect is a theory originated by the writer and paranormal consultant Fiona Broome that states false memories are in fact glimpses into parallel worlds with different timelines. A common example is the Bernstein Bears versus the Bernstein Bears. Okay, we have this one spelling here, and now people see this spelling here, and they wonder, how is this going on? Another example, Sex in the City. In the following, you can clearly see the title being called Sex in the City, which was a different title than what people remember. If nothing else, actors and actresses know the importance of enunciation and speaking with clarity. The following video even shows more tangible proof of Sex in the City being part of the Mandela Effect. Okay, the Mandela Effect was named as such by Fiona Broome because it is common belief that Nelson Mandela died in the late 1900s, but officially died December 5th, 2013. The discrepancy caused people to question whether we are in a different timeline or living in a parallel universe. If you do a Google search for the Western Cape branch of the Southern Africa Council for English Education 1990 and then type Nelson Mandela died, you'll get the following. Nelson Mandela died 23rd of July, 1991. Please keep in mind that this book was published on October 1st, 1991. So here is undeniable proof written in black and white 22 years before Mandela's alleged death in 2013. Okay, so what we've got here is contradiction. We have one place which saying he died in 1991, but here we have other information that he officially died in 2013. Well, which one was it? And why is there the contradiction? Terence McKenna talked about his time wave zero theory, where he proposed that time is spiraling towards the singularity where all possibilities become condensed into one reality. McKenna noted these changes in time mirrors current events with past events in a cyclic manner that repeat over and over, but each time on a shorter cycle until the singularity is met. Many people have reported experiencing glitches in time, where time is unaccountable in large chunks. For example, they may be doing a particular daily routine for many years, but time may have drastically shifted on one particular day in such a manner that it was inconceivable. Glitches in time can happen in other ways as well. For example, December 4th, 2015, I experienced an odd glitch in time anomaly. I used my old cell phone for basically playing MP3s, and up till yesterday everything was fine with it. Then I noticed that the date of my cell phone changed to January 10th, 2012. I think too much about it until today when the date read January 11th, 2012. My phone has never dropped. I didn't accidentally do any updates. I never took the battery out. I simply decided to go back in time, which could signify a change in timelines. So I was curious about how much time was in between the date of January 11th, 2012 and December 21st, 2012. I went online and I found this. After seeing 11 months and 11 days, I pondered what are the odds of this being an 11-11 type scenario. Apparently, the odds are 100%. I then calculated what the date would be 11 months, 11 days from now. Results November 15th, 2016. Additionally, many people have experienced the speeding up of time in an article I wrote called Time is Speeding Up Phenomena, Preparing You for 5D. Ian Lungold stated that time is speeding up because the creation was speeding up. In other words, more was happening in less time. The more is possible to happen in every moment, stated Lungold. There are more possible outcomes which open the door of things called miracles. So what does this mean? We've heard numerous people talk about how they are now on the positive ascension line timeline. So we are seeing this as the timelines are converging to the best possible outcome for humanity. Each time a timeline converges, it creates a time anomaly that could include the sensation of time speeding up, a glitch in time, or something along the lines of the Mandela effect. When millions of people experience this, as we witnessed throughout the past year, then you know that something amazing is coming into fruition. Be very cognizant about where you are placing your thoughts and intention, because each thought and intention is affecting the timeline and the highest probable outcome every millisecond. Have you experienced a glitch in time or any other time anomaly? Please leave your comments below. So, the timeline. It is very interesting time, and I did the story earlier about the black holes, which is dealing with time going through a black hole into another reality of sorts. I just saw a commercial last night for a new TV show coming out that has to do with different timelines, time travel. So it's a concept we have explored over many, many years. Is it possible? I don't know. What we need to do is we each need to look at our lives and look at the events taking place and see if we can see anything that is out of synchronicity. Do you remember the TV show Sliders, where they would slide from one dimension to the next? And they would go from one Earth to another Earth, and there might be 99% similarity between the two Earths, but there'd be that 1% difference. That's kind of like what we're talking about here. So if you watch the videos there, you'll see the different examples of things that seem to be different now than the historical record or our memories seem to suggest. From biblical passages to movies and lines in movies and storylines to just general events like Mandela. Did he live or did he die? So a lot to look at, a lot to consider. Something is definitely taking place, and we can see a lot of events converging, can't we? There's an end time story playing itself right now. The characters are out there in the world. We are at a point where America is either going to continue to live on after the election and we're going to continue to move forward, or our experiment of America is going to be dead and we're going to be overrun by this Islamic influence that wants to take over everything, as I showed you yesterday when I showed you the video of Bridget Gabriel. If you haven't seen that, go look it up. Look up Bridget Gabriel. There's a nice 50-minute video online of her speaking about this and how the plan put in effect on paper in 1991 has been working towards an Islamic state unfolding here within the United States, and how they have actually gone about doing that, how they've infiltrated every sector of life, and how kids in schools are certainly being affected because that is where they're working to make the change. Affect the kids, affect what they learn, affect how they're going to do and move into the future, and then as they move forward with these ideas that they have been presented, the future changes. So there's something taking place. It's very significant. We've got a lot of events that are taking place right now in the world that are very ominous. We have a lot of strange activities, from the UFO sightings to the CERN activities to this political election to the strangeness of what's going on in Rio. This is a time to keep paying attention, my friends, because there's definitely something going on, and it's coming to a head. It's definitely coming to a head. These elections are going to be a very big thing because they're going to be a turning point or not for this country. With all the Mandela effect and change, is it possible we're on another timeline? I think so. I've seen enough things to think that that might be a reality, and I'm going to keep paying attention. I hope you do the same. It's time for us to put aside the concerns that someone might think we're crazy for looking at these different anomalies, because if these anomalies are real and we're turning a blind eye to it, then what's the point of that? There's no point in that, because it's like sticking your head in the ground and pretending that what is happening is not really happening when it's happening. We can't avoid it. We have to deal with the situation at hand. All right, here's a channeled message for today. It says it comes from Mother, Father, God via Ann Dahlberg. Here we go.
Dahlberg, August 7th. I am your Father/Mother God, and I have a message for you today. Earth is on its way to return to its original pristine condition. This will cause some birthing pain, which can appear as a rebirth happens. Some of this you will notice, other parts you will be spared from. All who wishes can enter the new world now. The gates are open now and are just waiting for your decision, dear children. Which world do you want live in? The world that Gaia now has chosen, or to continue in the world you live in now? Both worlds cannot exist at the same time, as one world will pull away from the other. Gaia, who is your Earth, has chosen the higher dimension now, and all who wish to follow her must choose to ascend into a higher dimension. Beings from the higher dimensions cannot live in the lower dimensions without being injured. They can only make short visits to the lower dimension and then return to the higher one to recover there. Earth has raised its energy so that more beings from the higher dimensions can be here now and help Earth in its large transformation. All you who follow her and have decided to return to the light, help both yourself and Gaia in her efforts to get Earth as a whole to ascend. It is a major puzzle. There are many different life forms on Earth that have their own micro and macro kingdoms. Gaia is battling to bring it all with her. She is a brave fighter, your Gaia, your mother, so give her all your respect and love. Send her your light and thank her for her care for you. It will bring joy to her great heart, which beats hard for you. You are all her children, and she cares for your well-being and just wants things to be good for you. She is utterly glad and grateful that so many follow her now in her great transformation, which will also be your great transformation since you choose this together. Rejoice now with Gaia and see the light and the positive that is before you. Read the signs that are all around you that show that the new you, that you have waited for, already has started. The signs are there for all who wish to open their eyes, dare to see, dare to feel. Everything is about courage to enter something new. This time the new will be better, so you do not need to be afraid of it. Everything will be for the better now, dear children of Earth. The moment you have waited for is here now. The time to live in a paradise is here, so run towards the light. All your friends are there and waiting for you. I, your father/mother, always open my arms to you and will always patiently wait for you to return home again. Your decision is my decision and my love will always be with you. You choose yourself if you want to feel it or not. My heart beats with yours and only love can flow out of it. Lovingly. Father/Mother God. Translator from Swedish to English.
All right, very good. Okay, very good, very good. So we've got a change taking place. Okay. Now, if this was the first time that we had heard this, but we haven't. We've heard it over and over through the course of today's show, haven't we? There's change in the air. Something is taking place. We're being led to understand that there is a dimensional shift, a timeline shift that has occurred, and we have the opportunity. We can be stuck in all the nonsense that's going on, or we can ascend with everything that is ascending up to where we need to go, the destiny that God has put before us. Which way are we going to go? We're going to keep following the darkness and the path of the darkness. We can see where it's going. We know that there's a satanic influence down here on earth. We understand it. Those who can see it can see it. Those who can feel it can feel it. Those who can hear it can hear it. It's there. It's unmistakable. It's turning friends away from each other. It's causing a separation in people's beliefs. And we're seeing very direct separations, aren't we? We're seeing some people who are just becoming so dark and evil and power hungry and afraid to lose their power that they're bonding together with others that feel the same way. It's like when we're seeing all these like Republicans that are jumping ship and going to say they're going to vote for Hillary. Well, why would you do that when you know that that's opposite of what you're doing? It's just a sign that something strange is going on. It's strange going on, and we can see this in all aspects of life. So we need to really get on board with our understanding, my friends. There's a bigger picture at stake here, and it's not about your daily job, and it's not about the daily activities of an election, and it's not about the daily activities of what the media is telling us. There's a spiritual change, transition taking place, and we can either get on board with it or we can be left behind. Which do we choose? I know which way I want to go and what I want to do. I hope to see you all there as we're moving forward, because I'm going forward. I'm going with the change because I want to go where all the goodness is going to flow. And I want to get away from all of this nonsense because it's been too much nonsense, and I see it getting worse, and I don't want to go towards the worst, and I don't know anybody who does, except those who are of the liberal mindset, because liberalism is a mental disease. And there's far too many mentally diseased individuals down here on this planet right now. We need to be smart, my friends. We need to be smart. I'm tired of mincing words. If somebody has a problem with what I'm saying about these things, I don't care anymore. I really don't care. So don't waste your time telling me you think I'm stupid or I'm racist or I'm bigoted or anything like that because of my beliefs about where we're going. I don't care, because I'm confident in knowing that there is a path before us that God has outlined for us. And I understand there's a dark, demonic, satanic influence that is trying to keep us away from following that path of God. Stay focused, my friends. Stay focused as we walk forward. Stay focused as we move forward along this path. Everything's going to be okay. But believe me, they're trying really hard to distract you from moving along that path, from getting closer to where you got to be, closer to God. So let's do our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now let's imagine ourselves walking along a path. And as we walk along this path, at first we find that this path is wide. And we're able to walk smoothly down this path. And we see this path is leading up ahead to something that looks wonderful. And we walk towards that. And as we walk towards that, we're walking away from that in the past which was holding us back, to the things that weren't working, that were distorted and manipulative. And as we keep moving forward to the goodness that we feel as if weights are dropping off of us, darkness is falling off of us, and we're feeling ourselves inspired because we know that this is the direction God wants us to go. But as we walk along this path, we feel that there are those influenced by dark archonic energies trying to knock us off the path. And at first, when they go to push us, we get unbalanced, but we keep going. And as we think confidently about our ability to move through all of these paths, to move along the darkness without hesitation or fear because of the spirit that flows through us, we find that these forces of darkness no longer have effect. And we keep walking, moving closer. And the path gets narrower and narrower, but we keep walking. And as we keep walking past all of the things that are trying to distract us, we inspire others to do the same. We remember the words, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for God is by my side, with his rod and staff to comfort me. He anoints my head with oil in the sight of mine enemies, sets the table before me in the presence of mine enemies, anoints my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely thy goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And see yourself walking along that path, and see more and more people joining you upon that path, till there are many, many of us, millions of us, understanding the divinity that is calling us forth, the divinity that is calling forth the divinity within ourselves. And so we walk confidently, faithfully. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of walking forward towards the goodness ahead, leaving the badness behind. Let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, walking confidently, faithfully. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is it for today. You know, sometimes I ramble on a little bit. You know, I've got a lot to say. My friends laugh because I never stop talking. And, you know, I could keep going another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That wouldn't be a problem because I believe that much in the goodness that we have available to us. I believe that much in humanity to rise above the situation and conditions that they're in. And I truly believe and see that there are these influences out there trying to influence us, trying to trip up good people who have good intentions. So if you're walking that path and you find any distractions, just keep going. Move past those distractions. Move past the things that are trying to stop you and keep going. Keep going because we are moving forward, my friends, towards the goodness. Destiny is on our side. The time of all the darkness and the evil and distractions is coming to an end. But we need to be strong because as we get closer and closer to where we need to be, it is certain that the dark forces are going to try harder and harder to knock us off our path, to knock us off balance. Just don't let them. Just do not let them because they do not have power over you. They do not have power over me. They do not have power over anything. The power of God that resides in us is unstoppable. Unstoppable. So just allow that spirit that is within you, let it out. Let it out. Have faith in your ability to allow that Spirit of God to flow through you. And be amazed then at what happens in your life as you do. No darkness will touch you. No distraction will keep you from where you need to go. You'll be moving forward like a laser to your destination. We're all in this together, my friends. We're all moving in this together, and we're all supposed to go together. The people, the planet, all of us. So let's go forward, keep moving, and let's conquer the darkness, the evil that is trying to stop us. There's more of us than them. There's more of us that want to shine the light than the dark. All we have to do is do it and keep the faith. Keep the faith, my friends. Keep the faith. That's what it's all about. Thank you for being here. I'll be back again tomorrow with more news and information. Have yourselves an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.